Hello, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, February 13th, and I am here with your Guild Wars 2 news. Today, they have released what is possibly the roadmap that we have long been waiting for, so let's just jump right into it. Studio update, Guild Wars 2 in 2023. Hello Guild Wars 2 community! Before our holiday break, we wrapped up 2022 by reflecting on what a fantastic year it was for Guild Wars 2. In the time between that studio update and New Year's Day, Guild Wars 2 and the ArenaNet team earned several end-of-year awards from top gaming press, including PC Gamer's Best Ongoing Game, MMORPG's Player's Choice MMORPG of the Year, and Massively OP's Best MMO Studio 2 years in a row. Best MMO Expansion, and Best MMO Business Model. And there's links to all of these. I'll have a link to this page in the description down below, as I always do. Those were some exciting presents to unwrap. Again, a heartfelt thank you to our fantastic community for helping make last year the success that it was. Let's do it again. So just two major points there for those who might be like brand new to the game or you don't know. Early last year is when Guild Wars 2's third expansion, End of Dragons, was released, and mid last year, in August 23rd to be exact, was when the Steam launch happened, which gave another large influx of players into the player base. We closed the December studio update with a promise that we'd be back in early 2023 to talk about our long-term plans for Guild Wars 2. Today, we'll be talking about some big changes we're making to how we develop and deliver new content and features, including our approach to expansions, and we'll share our next development roadmap. This blog is absolutely jam-packed with information, so let's dig in. Defining the problem. Since 2021, we've put a renewed emphasis on developing Guild Wars 2 with a player-centric approach, where step one in our development process is to seek out and understand the problems and frustrations that MMO players face. This approach was first adopted at ArenaNet over 20 years ago and is the core of the continued success of the Guild Wars franchise. The conclusion of the Elder Dragons saga, a story told over the course of a decade, was an opportunity for our team to reflect on our past before moving forward. We evaluated what has and hasn't worked over the years and used those insights to redefine how we develop and release content for our players. Our goals for the next phase of Guild Wars 2 are simple. We want to deliver content updates in a more timely and consistent manner, and we want to provide better support for the wide variety of systems and game modes that make up the Guild Wars 2's experience. Having the development bandwidth needed to iterate on core systems is especially important to us, and it's something we've been making headway on over the last year with our Quality of Life Improvement Initiative. There are so many systems in Guild Wars 2 that have good bones, they can be even better with just a bit of love. Thinking about what to add on to that. So Guild Wars 2, despite the fact that, it's a chip says high, over 10-year-old game, it has got a wonderful, wonderful system in it. I myself am kept in this game by the combat system. I've played MMOs since 2001, and the combat system of this game keeps me coming back for more. But, it is a combat system that was in place for 10 years. It absolutely could be polished up, and that also goes with many other things. The trading post, for example, I'm looking forward to the trading post update because it is an absolute mess. The trading post and the gem store are, I believe, a Chromium-based web browser window, and it is super, super clunky. Systems are very, very good, but they could absolutely be touched up. The path forward. The first step toward accomplishing these goals was to rebalance how we allocate our development resources across the project. Historically, with few exceptions, Living World seasons have required the focus of nearly the entire Guild Wars 2 development team to deliver them at the size, quality, and cadence that our players expect. This made it difficult to simultaneously develop expansions while supporting the game with regular content updates. It also means that many areas of the game went under-supported. In the next phase of Guild Wars 2's development, we're taking a more balanced approach that will allow us to provide more support for popular game modes, make frequent quality of life improvements to core gameplay systems like professions, deliver new features, and expand the world of Tyria with satisfying immersive story updates. So already that sounds awesome. I've been a very active player of the game for about close to 4 years now. And during that time, PvP very rarely updated. World v World very rarely updated. The Living World seasons came out. I was here through the Icebrute saga. I was here through, End of Dragons. The later parts of Living World season 4. But in that time, let's see, Fractals. There was one new Fractal added, Sunquaw. There was a couple of PvP balance updates, no new maps. Maps with certain glitches and stuff haven't been fixed. They haven't been removed from the ranked map pool. World v World, no new maps, I think, since Path of Fire, and no like major changes other than like occasional like class balance updates in World v World. Dungeons, the only thing I can remember in the last 4 years was that they tweaked the currency. Raids, I think in the last 4 years, the only thing is that they added Raid Wing 7. But then they stopped on that. And then, but to be fair, they started doing strikes, which are kind of interchangeable with raids as far as how they work. But, you know, during that time, they kept cranking out the Living World stuff. I would love to see them divide their attention among these other projects. I would love to see more frequent updates for PvP, more maps, you know, like bug fixes, stuff like that. What it means for you. Our future expansions for Guild Wars 2 will be the backbone of this new approach. Rather than launching an expansion every 2 to 4 years with a season of Living World in between, we'll be releasing smaller expansions more frequently at a slightly reduced price and adding additional content for those expansions through quarterly updates, meaning that the next big release will only ever be a few months away. Excuse me. The first release is in an expansion cycle is the launch point for a new story arc, bringing with it 2 new open world maps, 2 strike missions, new gameplay and combat features, new masteries, and new rewards. In the following quarterly updates, we'll add another open world map, additional story chapters, challenge modes for the strike missions, a new fractal dungeon and challenge mode, new rewards, and additions to the new systems introduced in that expansion. Once that expansion story is complete, the next expansion will be just around the corner. So that already sounds freaking awesome. So again, 2 new open world maps. So that would be, you know, like how Ember Bay and Draconis Mons, you know, stuff like that were added in Living World. So the expansion would come with 2 maps. 2 new strike missions, new gameplay and combat features, new map. I wonder if this includes new elite specs, or I would hate to see them phase out new elite specs with the rapid release of expansions. I'm not saying every expansion would need new elite specs, but I do still want to see new elite specs. To me, those are the most exciting part of any expansion release, is the new elite specializations. So I hope that they are not done with those. New masteries. I personally don't really care that much about masteries, because masteries feel like something you need to get, and then once you get it, you almost never think about it again. Right? Like I need to get this for my raptor to be able to jump farther, and then you never think about it again. Like, it's not a horrible system, but just like, you know, you get the mastery for fishing, you get the mastery for skiff, and then it's not something that ever crosses your mind again. It's just kind of like a little chore at the beginning of a content patch. So I'm kind of shrug on that. New rewards, always nice. And then quarterly updates, again, another open world map, additional story chapters, challenge modes for the previous strike missions, a new fractal dungeon and challenge mode, so that would be similar to like the Sunqua release, which came out, had a, you know, it was a fractal and also a challenge mode. Interesting they called it fractal dungeon. I assume they just mean a fractal. New rewards and additions to the new systems. Okay, spring roadmap. The next chapter of Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons arrives on February 28th. That is near the end of this month. With familiar allies like Detective Rama and his hat at your side, and his hat, you'll travel to a new location in Cantha and come face to face with a deadly foe that resides deep within the Jade Sea. So before I even continue reading this, I want to go down to Cantha here. We have had for a little while on the map, there's Drowned Kanang, there's Great Turtle Highlands, there's the Jade Sea right there. I'm wondering if any of those things are related to what we are about to talk about. The Jade Sea. That storyline will conclude a few months later with an update that introduces additional playable space. For a microsecond, I thought that said an additional playable race, and I was like, what? Oh no, I misread that. Introduces additional playable space to the map. Wait, hold on. Adding extra space to a pre-existing map. So that sounds like what they did with Drizzlewood. Was it Biora? Where they released them in halves, and then when they were done, there was like just a large map. Adds meta events and boss encounters, and lays the groundwork for future to-be-announced adventures. Unlike a Living World release, all owners of Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons will gain access to this content, meaning there's no pressure to log in to unlock it, and no gem costs for missed story chapter unlocks. That's very nice of them. Although you could say they lose a bit of money by not charging for that. I think that they gain more in possible future players. I've said for a long time that I think that all the DLCs that come like after an expansion should be included with that expansion. So like Living World Season 4 should come with a purchase of Path of Fire. If you buy Path of Fire, it should come with that. Like, even, again, I've mentioned that I played MMOs since EverQuest back in 2001. Even back then, when you bought the newest expansion, you got everything before that included in the package. That was something that was done 22 years ago. So it's very much something, like, if you're trying to get someone else to play this game, and you're like, yeah, there's 3 expansions and 40 DLCs you'll need to purchase to get everything. There's so many people that'll just throw up their hands and be like, never mind. You know, that's a very intimidating thing. I would like to see that, you know, be done away with. Continuing on. In the first half of the year, we'll release the Su-1 Legendary Weapon Skin Variant Collection. Hyzen is going to flip a table. 2 Profession Balance updates, a new Fractal Dungeon and Challenge mode, and multiple updates for World vs. World. Additionally, we'll finish rolling out DX11 and Chromium Embedded Framework updates and run our usual festival and bonus events. We'll also have some quality of life updates in the works, including a long requested feature that will allow you to queue up for PvE maps when they're full. Oh, that's awesome. I wonder if you can queue up for specific IPs. Like if you're trying to get onto the dragon stand that your guild is doing, and there's another one almost empty, I hope you can queue up specifically for the one you're trying to get into. If so, that's awesome. We might have a few surprises in store for you as well. Here's a high-level look at our upcoming releases. The timing for some of these updates and betas listed above will be announced closer to their release dates. February 14th, which at the time of recording this is tomorrow, Profession Balance Update, World v World Objective Reward Scaling, Chromium Embedded Framework Upgrade. Awesome. February 28th, new Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons map and story content, Su-1 Legendary Variant. All right, so wow, that's so close. So the end of this month, we're getting the new map and story content and the Su-1 Legos. March 28th is the Super Adventure Festival. That always coincides with, you know, April Fools, so that will be around that time. April 18th, DX11 upgrade will be complete. May 2nd, Profession Balance update again. Okay, in the background, we'll be quietly working on what's to come in the second half of the year. We'll have more to share on that later. Wrap up. We're so excited about the next phase of Guild Wars 2. Both the things that we will be able to share today and what's just over the horizon. The changes we've outlined will allow us to provide a better experience to our fans, release new content updates more consistently, and ensure that Guild Wars 2 will be around for many, many years to come. We'll see you in game. Josh Grouch Davis, Game Director. Okay, so that's the end of what they posted, and this is awesome. This is awesome. So I've mentioned this on my stream before many times, but in MMOs, like, yeah, the story is important. And, you know, I won't agree with it. You know, some people will disagree with me on this, is what I'm trying to say. But I don't think it's the most important. I played Black Desert Online for over a year, and the story in that game makes no sense whatsoever, and I couldn't follow it at all. Didn't matter. Gameplay was fantastic. Guild Wars 2 has fantastic gameplay and a good story also. World of Warcraft. I remember, you know, when new expansions would be released and I would play them on release day, I would just, like, binge the game, and I would play through, like, all the story of the new expansion in a day or two. And you know what was after that? The repeatable content. So I believe that the repeatable content that people play over and over and over for hundreds of hours is what needs the highest level of polish. And then, like, the story and stuff like that, you know, after that. Again, you know, there is a middle ground here. This is just my opinion on that. But Fractals, strikes, raids, PvP, World v World, these game modes that people will do hundreds of times versus the living world stories that they might do once, I feel like they need more attention than they have been getting. And it's very nice to see a possible hopeful future where that is the case, where they will be getting more attention. Because those are the things we spend way, way, way more time in. And again, I'm not saying completely neglect the story. I'm just saying, you know, I like the idea of them balancing their resources. Literally the only thing in this entire page that I think might be a negative, if it's even a thing, is I saw no mention of new elite specs in the new expansions. They talked about all the new stuff that would be coming in new expansions, but they never mentioned elite specs. I hope that they will still be there. Now, if they're cranking out expansions really quickly, I'm not expecting like new elite specs every 3 months or every 6 months or whatever, but I would still like to see them trickle in. So I would hope that we still get those like over time, like in the long term. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. That's very, very awesome. So tomorrow is the Profession Balance update, the Worldview World Objective Reward scaling, and the Chromium Embedded Framework upgrade. So yeah, we've got that right around the corner. And then February 28th, in just a couple of weeks, is going to be the new Guild Wars 2 End of Dragon map and story content and the Suwon Legos, and the other stuff's further out. But yeah, seems like 99% good news, possibly 100% good news. Yeah, if you've got any questions, problems, thoughts, concerns on this, be sure to put them in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already for more content like this. And we will be back with the next update. Also, reminder, if it's going to keep you out of trouble, Valentine's is tomorrow, so make sure you take care of that if you need to take care of that. So, you know, you can... Oh! You know, okay. All right. Have a good day. Bye.